Well, welcome to the inaugural vaad. I just want to share a short story as a vehicle for an introduction, and then we'll get the show on the road. The Gemara in Brachos, in the 9th parak of Brachos, spends a few blat going through dream interpretations. And there are several dreams over there that are interpreted to mean yitzapel shalom, that a person should anticipate shalom. And one of the dreams that Chazal say a person should anticipate shalom if he sees is haroya sir b'chalayim, according to one day in the Gemara. If someone sees a pat in a dream, he should be mitzapel shalom. Now the story is told that Rabbi Yonasan Eibshitz, who aside from being the Goyin Hadar in Rosh Yeshiva in Prague, had a close relationship with the Duke of Prague, who would from time to time, spar with him and try to ask him questions about Yiddishkeit. At one time, the Duke confronted him and said that he heard about this Gemara of haroya sir b'chalayim, yitzapel shalom, and it doesn't make any sense to him. It sounds foolish. To which Rabbi Yonasan Eibshitz replied that it's a basic concept. He said, a pat is something that takes all sorts of conflicting ingredients, and like fire, water, various different elements of taste, of food, and done just right, a pat combines all these elements and produces something that everybody wants. And shalom means harmony. Shalom means when everything makes sense. So this is a get-together where, at least from the questions that I saw, is seeking to create a harmony between all the different elements that a person has to face in his daily life. And if Chazal said that haroya sir b'chalayim yitzapel shalom, certainly haroya sir b'haketz, we have the Rav whose Talmud Chacham shaft goes without question, and his world knowledge that accompanies it makes it even more applicable. And I'll just say haroya sir b'haketz yitzapel shalom. We should expect harmony and a clear vision of what we face.
Poischem b'chvoid achsanye, Torah links. I never saw this building yet. It looks ganz shine. There are corners of Torah, they let us in. A große yashakoyach to those who organized this amazing event, this kinnis and this asifa. Moti, I don't know if he's about and Ezzy. But the truth is that I have tremendous. I'm touched by the fact that everybody got together in this room. It's a kiyum of what it says in the pasuk in the Novi. Oz nidbru yirei Hashem isha re'eyu v'yakshev Hashem v'yishma v'yikosev sefer zikon lefonav l'yirei Hashem v'lechosh v'shmoi. Ultimately, what happened? People got together for what purpose? Everybody's sitting and telling himself, how could we grow? How could we become better? And that's a tremendous cheshivas. Everyone who showed up here is making a proclamation. He's saying that I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to grow in Avodas Hashem. I want to become closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And Mameli is saying I'm a good person. That's the declaration that he's making by just walking into this room. Chazal tell us that B'shas Matan Torah, Klal Yisrael said, "Ritzoyneinu lirois malkeinu." Moshe said, I'll say over what the Rebbeinu Shalom says. No, Ritzoyneinu lirois malkeinu. Klal Yisrael is not happy with second class. Ritzoyneinu lirois malkeinu. And everyone who's here says, Ritzoyneinu lirois malkeinu. Lachzo is b'noyam Hashem. We want to see the Noyam Hashem. We want to know what. I want to just say 4, I think, very important yisodos. I I'm going to try, one of my big chisroin, is the clock. Whoever knows me knows this is one of my big failures. So I'm going to work hard to stay loyal to the clock. And if I have to, I'll stop in the middle, I'll say only... But I'm going to try. I have here my watch. Hopefully we'll behave. The first thing is, like I said, that every Yid who walked into this room and he said that I have a thirst to grow should not be small in his eyes. Should never for a moment think that he's small. Because in truth, that's considered hatzlocha. We have a generation that's struggling with the concept of hatzlocha. Nobody wants to be second. Second is also good. I always tell my kids, if I get an 80 when I get up there, I'll be happy. But if you're down here, if you can't say such a thing, I'll be at 80. No one wants to be 80. I have to be 100. So he says, what do you mean? I'm not 100. If I'll be 100, I'd be a koilim gaman, learning a whole day, bali shum hefsik. So let me tell you, every koilim gaman in koil is saying also that he's only at 80 because there's the guy in the front that's being a bigger lump than him. It never stops. But when we judge hatzlocha by things that are not realistic, we become imutzlochem. What's hatzlocha? A person who has a thirst to grow, and he is a person who's in the mindset that he's growing, that's hatzlocha. And any thought that a person thinks that he's not a mutzlach, he should know it's not coming from the Yetzer Tov. Boru kachamur. It's coming from the Yetzer Hara. And it's one of his tricks, and it works well. It's probably the best of all his tricks. Because when a person feels that he's not successful, then he feeds him other successes. And he's looking to be successful in something, and he just tries to fill that success with something else. It never yet brought anybody to learn more, daven more. So the first thing a person has to identify, that voice that says that he's not matzliach, that's from the Yetzer Hara. Unfortunately, we suffer from this, and I'm telling you, everybody suffers, not only people that are working, that think that they're suffering because everybody suffers. Growth and thirst for growth, that's hatzlocha. The Zohar HaKodesh says that the Baal Tshuva, chaylo yatir, he has tremendous koyach. And the reason is because since he was far from the Rebbeinu Shalom, he has this tremendous thirst for having, if you ever met Uri Zohar, I had the schus to meet him. He told me, we were talking, he says, I don't have time. My whole life I'm catching up for the first 40 years that I didn't have Torah. That drive, because 40 years he missed out, kept him moving throughout his life with tremendous force, greater than us, because we don't feel we messed out. We missed out so much. Someone who can't learn a whole day has in zich the chayla yatir. He has that power because he has that simoyen, that thirst. And in that, he has a tremendous koyach. Keeping that thirst alive, that's hatzlocha. Every moment a person thinks he's small, that's from the Yetzer Hara. The second point I want to make. People think that they grow from the one story they read in a storybook that the person had a tremendous challenge, and he overcame that challenge, and now he's a great person. And everyone's waiting for that story to happen to him. When is it going to come the time that he had this challenge that was beyond? That he could have stolen $1 million and he didn't do it. Or he could have done this big Aveira and he controlled himself. Unfortunately, most people that have that story fail. That's why there's not so many such stories. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, most of us don't get such a story. For good reason. Because the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't want us to fail. A person becomes great from consistency. Not from great acts, but from small acts that are consistent. A person needs to be consistent. Whatever he decides to do, big, small, consistency, day in, day out. If it rains, if it doesn't rain. It doesn't make a difference. He does keseder, b'chol yoim v'yoim. He continues doing whatever it is that he's doing. Whatever he is right now holding by doing. But every single day. How many people daven in the same minyan every single day? It became a challenge today. When I was a kid, everyone davened in the same minyan for 50 years. He davened in the same minyan. Today, one day he wakes up 7, one day 7:30, one day 8, one day 8. I'm talking Chassidish Yidden more, maybe. Every day at a different time. There's such thing. Why is it? No, doesn't daven in a minyan. Depends when he wakes up. A person who can wake up every single day at the same time. Whatever it should be. If he can't get up 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, he gets up 8 o'clock. But he gets up every day at the same time. Makes no difference what happened yesterday. He's up. Every single day he learns. It doesn't make a difference. If he can't, if right now he's holding by learning 20 minutes, a half hour, he learns every day, half hour, but at the same time. Not one day when it's Ben Yom and Laila, one day when he's half asleep, one day. The same consistency. Again and again and again. When a person does things consistently, it becomes a kinyan. It becomes something that who you are. It builds you. And you become something. If you do great things once a month, you become very nice. You can perform. If a performer would perform every day, nobody would listen to him. He performs once in 6 months. Nobody becomes anything from that. People pay him to perform. But someone wants to become something every day, consistent, again and again and again and again and again. When you do that, without stopping, however small, you can say the growing. A person, he works in an office, and it's challenging. There's tznius issues. Let's say every day he closes his eyes once, but every day once. He can't do that. But every day once, it becomes a pattern. It becomes a consistency. Now he gets the ability to do it. If he says, I'm going to fly in the sky. Yeah, so you'll fly in the skies. One day you will, and for the next week you won't. And then you'll be on a seesaw your whole life. I know people, their whole lives are seesaws. 1 week they're Kaddish, the next 3 weeks they're Tomei, the next week. So what happened? Nothing ever happens for him. His whole life is a yo-yo. And then there's people that are consistent. Small. Maybe they're not so great, but they're the greatest people. And they move, and they change, and they become better. Because that's what consistency does. Another person said, only if I learn 3 hours first Seder, then I could be kohen. No, you just kohen less, but consistently. But when you do it consistently, you eventually kohen something. And the truth is that it happens to be that wealth management also works that way. People think that people become wealthy overnight. When I was a kid, people became wealthy when they were 65. Today, no more. You're wealthy by 23, 27. By the time you hit 35, you already lost $50 million. So what does that mean? It's a life of a seesaw, a life of extreme. Instead of consistency, he works, he earns, he puts away, he earns a little. Normal, consistent life, that's how people build gesunde Yesod. Otherwise, the whole life. Yesod number 3. I'm moving along, I'm not doing so bad. It's called mitzvah goyreres mitzvah. Now Mishnah, mitzvah goyreres mitzvah. A person's waiting, when taka is he going to get that big thing? How is he going to grow? There's a yesod important, so it's called mitzvah goyreres mitzvah. That means, when a person does something good, it brings along another good thing. But it has one rule, that the thing that you did good in the original, the first thing you did good, had to be something that you pushed yourself a little. If you push yourself a little, one mitzvah brings another one. It works like a snowball that rolls down a hill. As it's rolling down, it picks up another piece of snow, another piece of snow. Mitzvah gereres mitzvah, and becomes our mountain. I'm going to tell you a story I read in one of the books today. This is how every Yid used to read books. So I read Nachman Zeltz's books. So there's a story there. But it's such a gewaltige story, partially because of the mitzvah, gereres mitzvah. It's such a moedig story. It's kedai to hear the story. A story is you don't go wrong. So the story is like this. There was a Yid, typical story that happens to us every day. It's 11 o'clock at night. He lives in Borough Park. Any shul that's in his vicinity is already finished Ma'ariv. Everyone's already checking into bed. And this year didn't have Ma'ariv. No, starts a little. Down without a minion. It's not is a shulchan. It's not a shulchan. You really have to down with a minion. It's cold. It's hard. So this is Ma'izim b'chol yom, Mincha, Ma'ariv. So the Yid says he's going to pull himself up. He's going to go to Ma'ariv. Puts on this coat. Goes out to Ma'ariv. It's cold, winter, and he has to go to Shem Shabbos. He goes to Shem Shabbos. He can't find parking, so he doesn't bother taking his car. He walks. And he walks into Shem Shabbos, and he's there. He walks into Shem Shabbos. As he's walking in, he sees the Psagid, a poor, this. He fell asleep on the stairs there. He looks at him, he sees, I can go to Matzah, this guy is sleeping here. So he goes down Ma'ariv. The way out, he says, what do we do? This Yid sleeping over here. So he's mamish. So he calls his brother. His brother says, I'm going to tell you, but call Yana Askin. Calls the Askin. Calls the Askin. And says, I'll be there in a few minutes. Comes by, he gives a look at this. He says, you know what? Let's put him in the Park Hotel. The other knows the Park Hotel in Borough Park. Park Hotel. It was Amola Hotel. He's putting him in the Park Hotel so they wake him up, they put him in the car, they tell him they're putting him in a hotel for the night. They drive over to the hotel, they put him into the hotel. So the Yid says, once I have you in the car, I'm ready to take you home. Sure, shkoyev. So he's in the hall. He tells this Askin, what's with Yana and Yana? I mean, there was someone that he knew, that this Askin knew, that was once a friend with him in Yeshiva. Asked him, what's going on with that guy? So the Askin looks at him and says, you know him? He says, yeah, I learned with him in Yeshiva. And he starts questioning him, back and forth, all kinds of questions, with a whole seriousness, all kinds of questions about the guy. Finishes, he tells him, thank you, we're very helpful. I'll call you back in a week to tell you why. Drops him off, the guy goes into bed, he goes to sleep. A week later, he calls him up, he says, listen here. You remember that night, I want to tell you why I was calling. This guy did a psavera, and they arrested him. He doesn't have family, he was divorced, he was himself, nobody was helping about. And the prosecutor decided to throw the book at him. And they wanted to lock him up, I think, for his whole life. After someone noticed this mice and said, it's not deserving. The guy did it, nicht gefährlich. But for that, you have to give him such patch. So they got this Askin involved. Askin says, he doesn't know the guy. How's he going to get his hands on this thing? He had a meeting, he was supposed to go to the judge the next morning when he met this Yid. He says, after you told me this whole thing, I had what to tell the judge. And the mice said, the guy got a oynish for a month or two, and they let him out. I want you to know that this Yid is not going to sit in jail for the rest of his life, is b'schuscha. What's mitzvah gereres mitzvah? Person thinks, what's shana ma'ariv? What ma'ariv with a minion? But the ma'ariv with a minion pushed him. It pushed him, Mela. He went to the Shem Shabbos. How many people do we see in Shem Shabbos that are sleeping? We don't even look at them. But the mitzvah gereres mitzvah, Mela, you should look at them. Then he made it called Askin, so Mela got a big, now already he got the mitzvah that he was waiting for his whole life. That the guy out of jail, all because of him. And why? Because one ma'ariv with a minute. We don't know the power of pushing ourselves to do one mitzvah. We start a snowball. When you push yourself to do something that's hard, one thing, you think, whoa, what's the big deal? You did the whole thing. Mitzvah gereres mitzvah. You pushed, it made you have the ability to do another mitzvah. That other mitzvah is also not easy. You're going to meet in Shem Shabbos, you could just walk out, but you'll push yourself again, you'll get a bigger mitzvah. A person always should try. Push yourself a little. You'll create a mountain of mitzvahs. And now I'm going to end my drasha with the stories known before. I'm finished my drasha for today. Every person in life has a value system. His value system was built by his parents and by his rebbeim. A value system is the only foundation that we have that's strong. Afterwards, we have to build on that. If you build on that, and you have a good value system as a foundation, even if you have an Esoyin, you have what to fall back on, because you have a good value system. Unfortunately, we are ready to discard our value system because of our atmosphere. We find ourselves with other people that have a different value system. You go to a conference and you see people have a whole different value system. I don't know where they picked it up, but it's a different value system. They talk nivel peh, they talk things they shouldn't, they act in a way that's inappropriate, and we see it. So we say, maybe Taka, it's not so bad. My value system is so good. I don't know if your value system is good, but it's for sure better than having no value system. When we have no value system, then we're for sure dead in the water. There's nothing to gain. Never discard your value system. Cherish it. You built it, you have it. It's kodesh. Don't question it. Don't declare on his fakers. It's not negay. I have a value system. It's not moving. Why? Is it really? Should I ask a Rav? Maybe. Don't ask a Rav. You can ask a Rav on a Shaila that's probably, but if it's a value, not negay. People come on more to ask me Shailas. I want to tell them this thing. I'm not a pope. And I don't have to take off your guilt. Do me a favor. You have a value system. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Why are you calling me? You want to dray? You want to... What are you doing? What you're doing is getting rid of your value system. When you get rid of your value system today, it sounds like it's a small thing. Here it's a bend. But tomorrow you have nothing to stand on. You will crumble. We have a challenging world. The only thing that we have strong is if we have strong values, and it's kodesh kadoshim. Our children know it, our wives know it, and we know it. This doesn't move. Cherish and don't, chas v'shalom, don't bend any value that you have in the value system. Again, ashreichem that you got together. I'm amazed. I'm impressed. The Rebbeinu should give you all koiches to continue growing.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.